Welcome. This is the seventh in a series of videos demonstrating the use of two software packages, pfodDesigner and pfodApp. Today what I'd like to do is just jump straight into pfodDesigner. And I'm going to do up a menu here with just one drawing. That's going to be the only thing on this menu is just the one drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new menu. I'm going to do the target serial. I'm going to go ahead now and change the menu name. I'm just going to call it empty drawing. Save that. Add menu item. Drawing. There we have it. I'll go back to generate code. Write code to file. Then we'll exit the program. Everything will get sent to that txt file. And we'll transfer that to the laptop, and then I'll see you over at the laptop. Okay, so here we are over at the laptop. And this code you see here, this is exactly the way that I transferred it out of a designer and over to the laptop. And then I pasted it into the Arduino IDE, which you see here. Now, one thing I did add is this function down here called bar graph. And we're going to get back to that in just a little bit here. So the very first thing you may notice here, well, you may have noticed when we did it up, pulled up the drawing in Designer, that the developer includes a switch with the drawing, and I don't need a switch, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. So there's 5 places that I have to do that. And one more up here. Alright, good. So now what I'm going to do is go down here. And this here function, void bar graph, this is going to be the drawing we're going to be using. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that function right here. And after I've done that, what I want to talk about today mainly is this drawings.push0 function, which is very powerful. So basically what drawings.push0 does is it sets a new 0 on the screen for drawing the bar graph. And the new 0 is going to be at an x value of 10 and a y value of 15. Now that's in relationship to the drawings.start values you've got in up here at 50 and 30. These two values represent the edges of the drawing. And pfodApp always makes sure the whole drawing is visible on the screen. So if I was to put in here like 200 by 120, that would be exactly the same as putting in 50 by 30. So I like to work with larger numbers, and I'm going to put in a value here of 200 and 180. Now you're allowed to put in a value here, these are byte values, you're allowed to put in a value as high as 255 for your x and y on your drawings.start. So what I'm going to do now is, well, I guess what we're going to, before we do that, let's just go ahead and talk about scale factor a bit. This is a very powerful feature. You can scale your drawing to 80% by putting in 0.8, 120% by putting in a factor of 1.2, and of course 100% is what we're going to use this time. It'll be 1.0. And I guess I'll also mention that this push 0 now, this 10 on the x is going to be in relationship to the new x that I've set here. And the 15, accordingly, the same thing. is going to be in relationship to the Y value that I put in here. So I hope that explains it relatively well. What I'm going to do now is transfer everything to the pfod device, and then we'll fire up the tablet, and we'll see you back at the tablet. Okay, we're back at the tablet, and you can see the drawing that the bar graph that we've put into the menu here. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to jump back over to the laptop, and up here in the top right I'm going to stick a drawing, well, the same drawing, but I'm going to scale it. And then we'll do another one down here on the bottom right, and we'll scale that as well. So we'll see you back at the laptop. Okay, so here we are back at the laptop again. And the very first thing we're going to do here is you can see that I've got a drawing here of a Z0, and I've got a place for a drawing of a Z1. These are index values which have to correspond to the number of drawings you've got down below, Z0, Z1, Z2, etc., etc. Now it says here, add more parts of the drawing here if needed. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to copy this little snippet of code down to here. I'm going to change this to a 2. I'm going to change Z1 to Z2. Then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to take Z1, copy that, make that into Z2. Now the very first time that we sent the this bar graph over to the tablet and we had a look at it, I had it pushed off to an X value of 10 and a Y value of 15 on a scale factor of 100%. So what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to have it pushed off at all. I'm just going to put it at 0 for an X value. I'm going to put it at 0 for a Y. But I'm actually going to scale it down a little bit. This very first drawing, bar graph, I'm going to scale it down to 0.8. So that looks after the first one, Z0. So what we're going to do now is we're going to copy this push 0 bar graph and pop 0. I'm going to copy it down into this drawing Z1. And we're going to copy it down into drawing Z2 as well. Okay, good. Now for Z1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it off to a value of an X value of 80. Y value, I'm not going to do nothing with that. But I'm going to scale this one up to a value of 120%, so 1.2. The bottom one, Z2, well, the bottom right, it'll be on the menu there. This will be an X value of, we'll use 80. But we're going to push it off to a Y value of 100. And let's go to a scale factor of 0.6, 60%. So we'll transfer this to the pfod device and we'll see you back at the tablet. Okay, so here we are back at the tablet for the end of this here demonstration. Now one thing I did not mention when I was back at the laptop was anytime you make changes to the graphics, there's one of two things you should do. If you look at your code on the Arduino IDE, near the top of the code there's a liner that says pfod parser, and in brackets it's got quotation marks V1, V2, V3, V4, etc., etc. Anytime you change your graphics, you should either change that version string to, well, change that V4 or V5, whatever it is, change it to a different number, V5, V6, V7, or you can go to the pfod specification, and on your pfod app here, you'll see that there's some directions given inside the pfod specifications for doing a clear menu cache. That's what I use most of the time. Instead of changing the version string, is just do a clear menu cache. But it's shown in the pfod specifications how to do that. So here we are. You can see in the top left there, you've got the first one, that the first bar graph that we sent over. Now I didn't have it offset 10 and 15 like the first time. I've got it at a 0x offset and a 0 for Y offset, and I've got it scaled down to 80%. You can see the drawing here, that the next one here, the V1 drawing, or Z1 I should say, it's at 120%. And down here you've got you know, your drawing that was put in there at 60%. So overall, that like I said, that drawing.push0 is a pretty powerful function, and In the next video, we'll see how to actually update these bar graphs on a timer, and or a button push, whatever you prefer. You can do both if you desire. But I'm going to use a timer on the next demo, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.